So here is our assignment with the user interface. I'll build the user interface first and then come back to the logic. So starting a new project, making it a Visual Basic Windows Forms app. I'm going to call it Manning Roman Select Case, just to remind me what that project is about. Click Next, keeping track of where my location is. Remember, if you choose your location, it looks like future projects, it keeps in that location. This could be pointing to your flash drive, so you could actually be carrying your flash drive around and your projects travel with you, and you can make a backup of your flash drive. Going with the default net60 and create. Okay, so let's create the user interface. Two text boxes, two buttons, two labels. And I'm going to do the quick way. I'm going to create my buttons, and I'll come back and name them. I'll create them all, and then I'll set the font. Copy, paste. Use the spacing suggestions if you like. And they kind of crunch them together. I think I'm going to space them out a little bit. The labels, I will go with my two text boxes. We'll put those up there. We'll do our labels. Where's my label? There's label. Copy, paste. And two text boxes, and then I'll come pretty them up. So text boxes, go with that label. That's going to be their input number, and copy paste their second text box. Start lining things up, and I'm going to do, let's do, what else do we have in there? There's the labels, there's the numbers. I'm going to do a select all and set my font for all of them all at once. If you want to set the color of your font or the style of your font, you can do that now. For my labels, I'm going to right align both of them, so I'm going to control select through both of them, come to my text alignment, make that right middle, and I don't want auto sizing happening. Where's my auto size? Turn off auto size, and now let's see if it'll let me move them. Now that auto size is off, I have to resize them now that I turned off auto size. I suppose I should have done that first. Lining them up, and now giving them their text. The text is going to be enter a decimal in the range 1 to 10. I can just click, and I think I can, no, I can't start typing. I have to go down to the text property and then select and enter a decimal, and it's going to be integer in the range 1 to 10. Integer. Now, can I do a second line on the label? Let's try a alt enter in the range 1 to 10 colon. No, it doesn't do a new line. Let's see if is there any way. Oh, I can go with the editor, and let's see if I can hit a new line there. There we go. And then click off of it. There we go. Looks like my font got a little big. I guess I will enlarge that. I like it nice and readable. And oh, let's go fix that. Grab that little spacer. Integer in, oops, in the range 1 to 10. Little bit. Oh, where's my please enter? Enter. Now, looking a little better. Oh, I lost my new line. What's going on here? Oh, I guess I just have to widen it. All right, so the other one's going to say equivalent Roman numeral. Haven't given my labels a name because I'm not going to refer to them in the program, but I will put the text here is Roman equivalent Roman numeral. Oh, edit my text. Select all. Equivalent Roman numeral. Microscopic on your screen. And if I hit enter, it will add an enter. Now let's adjust my sizes of things. Just getting to know the GUI builder there. I'll move things around a little bit, make them line up a little nicer. Now this is going to be something I fill in that they cannot type, so let's turn that to be enabled to be false. There's enable false. And now let's, what are we going to do now? Now we want to give them good names because we'll be wanting to refer to them. I'm going to call that TXT Roman, or you could call it TXT result. You can decide on the names you give things. I'll call that TXT decimal. Labels, I'm gonna let them be label 1, label 2. Button 1, though, I'm gonna call him BTN Go or BTN Translate or Convert. I'll try Convert. Convert. And we'll call this one BTN Exit. And now let's give them the good text on there. The text is going to say exit. Where's my text? There it is, text. Exit. If you want to choose another word than exit, you are welcome to make those kind of modifications. Translate or convert. Exclamation point. So 2 buttons with the right names, and here I'm gonna pretty this up a little bit just since I don't need a lot of width in that. I'm gonna line them up with the same size. It just looks good to the eye to have things lined up and the same size. And those wonderful alignment tools are very helpful. The spacing here, I would like to make that consistent. There we go, we're lined up. And oh, let's give the form, I actually clicked on, let's give the form a name. Text, let's call it Roman numeral, convert to Roman numerals. What do they call it? Roman numeral converter. Roman numeral converter. By Manning. Gotta put my name in there. Advertise my spectacular coding skills. Now I had actually clicked on something, and remember, the one irritation is if I name that something other than Form 1, I break my code without having to go in and edit something else. So I'm not going to rename my form. Let's run it just to see if it gives me the decent user interface that I'm expecting, and I bring that over here. Yeah, that's decent. Nothing's going to happen until I add the equivalent code. I'm a little bugged by the color there. I'm going to change his background color so I can see that I'm expecting an answer there. You could make it a label since we're not writing to it. And I don't know why it takes so long for the properties to be updated. I'm going to give him a little better background color. Let's see here. Back color. Let's see what choices I have for a color there. Maybe something a little bit more interesting. Yeah, I'll do that. All right, now I'm ready to write the code. We'll assume, how about this? Let's give them, just to save me time from testing it, I'm going to give him the text, the default text in there. Let's give him a default text. Where is text? There. I'm going to give him a default text of, how about a Roman numeral 7? And oh, let's make that center aligned. I think that looks nicer. Center align their input. And where's my text align? There it is, right beneath where it was. Let's do text align center. And let's do text align center of the result too. I think that'll be good. Sometimes in my practice, I will put, if I'm expecting a result there, sometimes I'll set the text to be a question mark rather than blank. Or click convert to see. You can decide what you want to put there. I'm going to put a question mark there, or you could put click to see, or watch this space, whatever your coding style is. Now, I'm going to click the convert button as though they had typed something valid in there. And the coding to do that part, we'll just assume they don't click convert until they've typed something. So I just double click on convert, and because I've named my button nicely, I get button BTN convert click. The important thing is here that it handles the BTN convert click. It handles the clicking of that button. If I ever wanted to handle a different event, I would add multiple handles. Okay, so now here's where most of my code is going to go. But before I even write my code, let's put in some comments about what I'm intending to do, and and I'm going to put in my, how about I'm going to put in there, remember our option, is it option strict? I forget now. Let's do option strict just to force us to do the proper, maybe little stricter rules on our coding. And let's do, now, a little comment here. Read the input from txt decimal. Compare using a select case statement. Display results. Now I'm going to do it thinking of good coding practices, even though this is such a simple problem. It doesn't make a big difference. I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to dim, let's call it I decimal as integer. And I'll put a comment, place to hold input as a number. Because remember, the input is a text. I like single letters. You can use int if you like instead of I. It's your choice. And now let's read the number, convert decimal safely. Don't assume that they have typed in the correct number. Now, do you remember what to do to convert something they have typed as text into a decimal? Other than the lazy way of saying I decimal equals txt decimal dot text. Now, because I'm doing option strict, I don't think it's going to let me get by with that. Without option strict, I think that will do it. So if I comment out option strict, he will try to convert for you. But with option strict on, it's not going to let you get away with letting VB do the work. So we can't do the implicit conversion. Well, look at here. He does a show potential fixes. You're welcome to use that. What does it recommend? It recommends the cint. I've been used to the try parse, but they suggest cint, and I'm willing to try that. Now, it still doesn't know whether I have it in the correct range. We'll handle that with our select case. So now, because they said to use select case, I'm going to do it the select case way, even though I know if I use an array of things or some logic or loops, I might be able to handle larger numbers. Let's just use select case. So how do we use select case? Well, think about it. If it's a 1, well, then I display, or then the result is capital I. 2, it's going to be II, and etc. Well, how do I do that in a select case? Well, let's go back and look at the example. You got a question or thinking there, Eli? Okay. So I'm going to, if I have a 1, the output's going to be I. If a 2, double I. Now, of course, you can look online for all sorts of algorithms, but let's do the select case, and let's again go back and look what a select case looks like. Select case, oh, and here in this case they have a number is an integer. I can do select case number, and then I have a case statement, and then what I do, and then I have another case statement and what I do. So I'm going to have a case 1, do something, case 2, do something, case all the way from 1 all the way up to 10. And then I'll have a case else. So let's do the case part, and then we'll figure, well, let's do the case part for the number 1 as decimal, and then it'll be pretty clear what to do for the rest. So let's go back to our code now, and let's do select case, and just like an example, I'm testing the value of something, and that's my iDecimal. Select case iDecimal. I hit enter. I think it will enter the end select for me. Yep. And it even throws me into my first case. Case 1. Now let's go back and look at the syntax. There is nothing else to put there because I do a specific thing for 1, a different thing for 2. So I can't have a case 1 to 10 because I'm doing something different for each number. So select case 1. Other languages have extra characters after this, but I select case 1, hit enter, and what am I going to do? Well, let's see here. I'm going to be displaying the result after I get through all these cases. So what I'm going to do as good coding practice, I'm going to declare, and I'm going to call it, this is going to be my result output. I call it, since it's going to be a string, I'll call it this dim s Roman as string. Give it an initial value of empty quotes. And now I'm going to say if case 1 s Roman is going to be equal to quote capital I. And the reason I am saving it into S Roman is I only want one place where I do my output. I could say here txt roman.text equals this. I want to separate out deciding what my output's going to be from finally producing my output. And I'll call it, it's a good practice of separating functionality of doing the logic and storing the results from actually delivering the results. So I'm going to put all the cases separate. I'll do case 2, and then you'll see how we can just copy paste and change things. So case 2, I hit enter, it will automatically indent properly for me, and then S Roman equals 2 capital letter I's. Case 3, and you can see how this is going. I have a simple, I manually hard code the translation 1 through 10. And it's nicely capitalizing things for me. And by the time you're this far, you should have the syntax of the case statement down well in your head, which is the main purpose of this, is doing something simple multiple times. And I know what you're thinking, how can I do the algorithm to do it for large numbers? Don't worry about that, because that's a more challenging problem. Let's just get this working first, and then we'll think about that later for an extra credit. Case 9. and case 10. And don't forget the case else. S Roman equals error out of range. Now, I may be testing before I do my select case whether it is out of range, but I'm throwing this in there just in case I forget to check for that. Any other value of I decimal will give me error out of range. And I realize that that's the long text and may not display properly. So I may think about my logic there, maybe display a message box if I get to here. So I'll decide. I might put a little comment here to myself. Message box. Alright, now let's see what I would do now. Suppose this is all working. I don't see any errors on that. Now I have stored the result in S Roman. Now I can display the results. It's just good practice to figure out your answer and then in a separate place decide what your results are going to be. It'll just make your debugging and coding life much better if you follow that kind of practice. Well, S Roman is holding the results, so I will do txt roman.text equals S Roman. And that should do it. So not a terribly demanding in your logic. That's why I want to do little extra little problems here as you learn things. Let's see that it actually does what I expect now. Seven converts to EIN. Let's try 99. There's my error message. Doesn't fit in the text box. I suppose I could make that auto fit and see how that would do it. Oh, the exit isn't exiting. Let's fix the exit. And how about, I'm thinking with the error, let's see if I can make that auto size and see how that behaves. But let's first do our exit button, because that's pretty easy. Now I've run into this a few times. Let's try that again. Yeah, I guess I have to wait a little bit after. What's going on? Why is it doing this to me? Go back to design. Well, the other time I had this problem, I closed VB. Let's see if I close this file and reopen it. Let's close form VB. And let's go back to design view. Form VB. How do I view design? Let's see. View designer. Shift F7. There. Okay. I closed the designer view and came back. If you ever hit that error. Now exit. Double click on the exit button. And you can look online, or you can just start typing. Is exit what I want to do? Oh, there is an exit. Exit's a procedure blocker transfer executed. Looks like that may work. Uh-oh.
Dot close.
Oh, me.close?
Yeah.
Or just, is it me.close?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What exit?
So it looks like exit must be followed by a function. Oh, so I don't want to use the exit, although that felt like the right thing. So close. Let's try. Looks like it throws empty parentheses in there. I could do me.close or just start typing and take a guess at that. And if I did me, the nice thing about typing me is it shows you all the possible actions. It's almost like a built-in little, hey, what commands can I do for this application? So me dot gives you clues. Just guessing that it might be close, it comes up with that. I hover over it. Oh, and it says closes the form. So me dot for it takes advantage of autocomplete's little hints. Let's see if that does it. I run this. And let's try the converts does the same thing. Exit, it does the exit. So me.close. Let's see here. I wanted to adjust, see if that will auto size if I have that error message here. I could do multi-line, and I think it may wrap, or is there an auto size there? There's size. Is there not an auto size? There is just a multi-line. Maybe I'll just set multi-line to be true and see how that behaves. So I'm not thrilled with the error message, but reasonably happy with its behavior. So do a little testing, type in some bad values. Well, it can do the basic one. Yeah, it works. Type in some bad values. Oh, the multi-line, unless I manually stretch it, it doesn't stretch for my text. This is where maybe a label might be better, because I think labels can be set to auto size for the message being sent to it. I could decide to do a message box too. And exit. And I don't care about that message. Okay, so have I satisfied the requirements for this application? Let's take a look at the original specifications. Where did my original specifications go? Right here. I suppose I should go through all the test values. It does not say do a message box. It just says display an appropriate message and then do not attempt the conversion. Yeah, that looks like I have everything here, and I did the select case. Now the only thing left to do to complete your code is to put your comment header at the top. You can decide if you want to put it inside your class or outside. I'm going to put it out here and do your basic template if you have it in a text file already, or you can do if you have a simple form, 2023. And a little space there, purpose, demonstrate use of the select case statement. Whatever you want to do for a nice looking header. With some reasonable comments, don't just say do something, describe what's being done, even if right now we're testing something fairly simple. Down here, I've thrown in comments as I've gone. Yes?
How do you concatenate to the string again?
Ampersand. Yeah. So you could look through logic for converting more numbers, or you could just add to the case statement. Because more advanced solutions to this involve loops and other logic, I'm not going to challenge you with that because we want to just get our basic logic done here first. Now, just for fun here, how would I do this with an if-else if? Or how about I check for errors at the very top? How about that? Before I go to my select case, let's throw in a only do the select case if there's an actual error. And this is where I would do it if I want to do a message box. So I will do how about this? We'll use a select case to decide whether I'm going to even attempt the conversion. So let's try select case iDecimal, and I'm going to put the select case, the other select case, inside of this. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to put that outer select case down here. And I'll call this outer, oh, better comment, outer error check. And I believe it will now re-indent things for me now that I've moved that. And so now this will be select case. This will be case, how about case less than 0, or sorry, less than 1. That is a valid case statement for decimal. If it's less than 1, what am I going to do? I'm going to say message box, and this time I'm going to do error too small. And now let's do case greater than 10. Message box, error too large. And then case else. So select case decimal is basically doing error checking and producing a message box. And I'll just put little comments here of handle errors with ranges to help me practice using select case. Now I could have done case, I think I could have done a combination, case less than 1 or greater than 10 and set error, but I like the error to say too small or too large. Let's see if this works. And notice how the other case, other select case is embedded in the else part of the first case. You are allowed to embed logic within logic, and that's where your logic skills come in. In my coding, I might just say testing of good values. Notice as my code gets longer, I come to the end and think, oh, okay, what select is this? And the indenting that it's doing for me is very helpful. It didn't used to be that way. You have to remember to indent it ourselves. So that's helping you a little bit. But adding comments about what is the end of which select that is may help you in your understanding your own code. Let's see if this will work now. Notice no matter what, I do the attempt at a conversion. And I haven't yet attempted bad numbers. Let's see what happens. So I have a number, that convert works. Let's try 77. I get error too large. And you know what I should do? I think if I get error too large, I should clear it rather than leaving it in there. And let's try too small. Let's try 0. Error too small. I think if I ever have an error, I should clear it. So let's do that in the code. Now, since I'm doing the same thing in both of those, I don't like doing the same code here, but let's do what is it? TXT decimal, TXT Roman, yeah, TXT decimal dot clear or dot text equals clear. Should we clear the result too? Well, how about this? Let's clear the result before I ever do anything, just so I don't have a result from before sitting around. So let's do txt result Roman dot text or dot clear. Now that my message box is being displayed, instead of displaying the error in the txt Roman, I'm going to clear it just in case I get one of these errors and I won't have the previous result. So let's do txt decimal clear again here. And it puts in the empty parentheses for me. That autocompleter can make you a lazy coder, but it helps you with your typing. Let's see how that performs as I think of enhancing, making this more user-friendly. That works. Let's give it a bad value, 77. Error too large. And I do clear it out. Makes them type something else. You know what I want to do? I think if I do convert, I want, oh, look at that. If it's blank, cint fails me. I don't like cint. Look at that. I got an unhandle invalid because there was no space. This is why I like try parse better. I'm going to stop my program. Cint will fail me and throw an exception, where try parse gives me a 0 if it can't convert it. So let's try a different let's try parse instead. I'll put a little comment here. Fails on bad input. Let's try integer.tryparse. And I have to remember the parameters. It takes the string and then the result. So integer tryparse txt decimal.text, and it can put the result in I decimal. I believe now tryparse, if I hover over that, I think it tells me it returns a 0 if the conversion does not work, and I think I don't even have to test whether the conversion was true or false. I think it will return a 0 if it's a bad value. Let's see if that works. So if it failed at parsing it, and we'll think about how we want to handle that. So try parse, let's see if it will handle bad input. So I can give it bad integers, 77, it converts, but it's too large of a number. Now let's give it a space, convert. It turns out to be too small because try parse returned a 0. So here is a little bit of a problem, but let's see if I give it a bad value. I think it'll also say too small. Yeah, it'll keep saying it's too small if it can't convert it, which is a little bit of an error in my message, but at least it caught the error. So this is where if around the try parse might be helpful. So let's try if not something. If, let's try if not integer that try parse, then message box invalid input. I better put error in front of that. Now, what do I want to do with this if? If I have invalid input, I'm going to stop here and I don't want to do anything else. I suppose I want to clear the input. Let's go ahead and clear the input if they give me invalid input. txt decimal.clear. Yes?
I just wrap the if state, I just put the select case inside of that.
Yeah.
And remove the not, and then have an else statement for if it's
okay, yep.
not, because then it takes up less
Right.
lines.
Yep. So yes, you could do that. Here's what my plan was. I was to put everything else in the else part of the if. So that would work. You can say, well, I want to test for errors first, else I do everything else. I'm going to cut and paste the end if way down after everything. And I've already cleared it, so I will put that right at the end if, and I'll put a little comment, test of valid input. And it's all a matter of your coding style. You could do the, if it does parse, then do all of this. And like he said, at the end here, do your else, display the error message. I would, in my thinking, I was thinking, well, let's test for the error message first and make that part of the beginning, and then else everything else. Exactly the same result, but it's just a matter of how do you like your code? Do you like your error message handling at the end or at the beginning? In this case, as I was thinking about it, handle error message, error handling at the start. And that's all a coding style choice. But like what he said, if I want to test, do the good stuff here, I take away the not, and that means try parse has returned. It was able to convert. Do all this, check to see is it within the ranges. If it is within the ranges, then actually do the Romans convert. So you can see as we built our code, little by little we handle the exceptions, to do the error checking. And lazy programmers will stop here, say, okay, I'm expecting good input, I got the problem solved, done, running out of time, turn it in. Well, you get partial credit because I think it did say handle invalid input if I look at the specs for my, yeah, if the user enters an invalid value. Remember, it crashing, the crash message is not an appropriate error message. So you do not, it's not fully functional if it does not catch everything and crashes with a syntax error or something. So that's why the try parse is a little better than the cint. Cint will fail if they've given invalid input. But it was the suggested fix, and that's where not all the time you'll get the best code from the suggested fix. You're welcome to see what a ChatGPT AI would give you for the code, because that's a valid way that real programmers may use when they're tackling a problem, is looking at what ChatGPT might suggest for a solution, and then you spend your time figuring out what ChatGPT gave you, maybe throwing in some comments if they didn't, testing that their solution actually worked. That does grow your programming skills, especially if ChatGPT gives you a completely different solution. Digging through that and figuring out, oh, that maybe that's a better way to code. But let's see if, first of all, if this is all working. And notice how when my testing, at first I test for good numbers, then I test for numbers out of range, check my errors. It does clear the input. Let's try for 0, too small. Let's try for invalid input. I should get bad input, right? And it should clear it. Now one more thing, you'll notice this on good web pages. Most web pages ignore this. Where am I expected to go type when I first start this program? Well, I'm expecting them to type something here. Why not keep them from having to go click there and type? Can we set the insertion point automatically on that control when I open up? And when I do the convert and I'm done, set the focus back to where they should be could be typing in a new value to convert. Just one extra little thing to do, but what do I do about it? Well, I'm going to help you with that. You can do a lot of searching and get a lot of strange results. You don't know what do I search for if I want that text box, my cursor, to go over there. Well, as you dig through it, you realize to set my cursor over to that control, what I want to do is something like this. Let's see, before we worry about integers, I guess I'll do it right here. I can do it after I declare my value. I'm going to do it, you know what, I'm going to do it before this, because logically this comes before I'm dealing with numbers. I can do txt decimal dot, and I'm looking for, I'm hoping it's in here, should be set something. If it's in there, I'll be so happy. Set bounds show. I want it set. I thought it was set focus, but I'm not seeing set focus. Get preferred size. Oh, there it is. Focus. I think I want that. sets input focus to this control. Okay, so focus, oh, that's it. I just don't do set text decimal focus. That sets the focus, set focus, put the cursor in this control. Just a little tiny refinement, and I'm going to do that again at the end. No matter what, I'm going to let's see, that would, sorry, wait a minute, that is, I want to do that when my form opens. Sorry, I want to set text decimal focus up here in form 1 load. So how I got that is I just click on the outer form and I want to put that there. I want to have them, their focus set to be where they're going to put their input, and then after they've done anything, I'm going to also set their focus back to that input. So no matter what, after I'm done doing the conversion, their focus is going to be back on that control. If I don't do this, my focus is left on the convert button. Just a tiny little piece that I think enhances your program just a tiny bit. I come to start my program, notice, well, I can't tell. If I start typing something, oh, it looks like my focus is not set to that. That's interesting. Let's do convert. It does set my focus back, but doesn't clear it. Now I can replace that with a 0, convert, error too small, it clears it. Notice here my cursor is set, focus is back to that. So I can type in numbers, 54. You know what would be nice? It would be nice if I hit enter here for it to actually do the conversion, rather than me having to go click the convert button. Do you think you can do that? I'm going to give you time to figure out, can you handle hitting an enter key here and have that do the convert? So convert will happen either I try to convert or by clicking the button or hitting enter here. See if you can figure that out. I think, oh, why does it do that? Am I going too fast over to the design window? Save. Let's try a save. That is the weirdest thing. I guess I must be coming over to, oh, it's not even coming up now. Close my design window. Reopen my design window. And it comes back. Irritating. So I want to handle when I hit enter on that key. Come over here.
Well,
this here indicates events that control can take. See, normally you're seeing the properties. Look at these events. Look at all the events that you can handle on this text box. Buttons, same thing. Buttons can handle mouse click, and if we look at this, we should see a click event being handled by button convert click. That's the default event that it sends you to when you just do the double click over here. But if you click on the little lightning bolt on any object, you can see all the events that you could be handling by that text box. And is there an enter key? Or what is it? There's text changed. There's mouse enter. Key press, key up, leave. Maybe you'd think there could be hit enter. I know there can be changed. Let's try change first. If I handle key up, that means that I'm going to have to know what key it was, because when I hit 1, I'm going to also get a key up. Let's see if text change will do it. And I think all I have to do is double click on this, and it creates a handler for that. Now what I typically do when I'm not sure if this is the right one, I'm just going to do MSG box changed. Nope, quote changed. Just to know, am I in the right place? Then I'll decide what code to handle here. Let's see if this is what happens when I hit enter on that button, on that text. Oh, it got called when I had started because I was entering a 7 in that. Let's try Typing a number, 8. Oh, it gives me change every time I type anything in there. So that may not be what I want. Maybe I just have to see what if they hit the enter key. Because this watches for every change. I wanted to watch for the enter key. Let's see. So txt changed. That may not be what I want. I could comment that out or just delete that handler, because that's not the handler I want. Save it, and I can go back to my form design and see what other event should I try to answer. Multi-line changed, parent changed, read-only changed. Validated, validating. That sounds interesting. Does it give me when the control is validating? I'm not sure what validated means, so I don't think that's what I want. It may be I have to just watch for the key and know whether they've hit the enter key. Sad. I wish there were something like enter or input completed. Let's try causes validation change. No, I don't think I want that. I guess I'm going to have to do. Oh, there's end. No, that's when it becomes the active control. Ooh, I can actually handle when they actually click on the control. I guess I'm going to have to look for key up. Key up is the normal key you want to watch for. Although key down will work. Normally in programs I see them handling the key up. Let's try that one now. And now I have to watch for what key was hit. I don't see any other way to handle hitting enter and doing that. I wish there was something easier, but I don't see. I was hoping it was the text changed. I wonder if validating might be. I haven't tried validating. I'm going to try validating. See, just for curiosity, I'm going to do message box validating. Because it'll be a lot easier if I can just have one event that happens when I hit the enter key. And again, I'm just doing this to debug what event is the one that I wish I could just handle the validating event on that. Let's see what happens. Debugging what that does. Program's running. I haven't got any message about validating. Convert 8. No validating yet. Oh, there it is. I left the oh, this might do it. I left the end control. Let's try 88 and hit enter. Oh. Why am I getting a beep on that? Oh, it doesn't. Oh. Enter no longer works when I am handling the validating. I have to click the convert button. I didn't know. I wasn't expecting that behavior. But this is how you can explore what happens. Now, I'm assuming if I turn off that validating, make sure I haven't broken my code. I'm going to delete that validating event. And let's see if I get the beeps again when I hit enter on that control. 7, enter. Oh, I didn't realize. I don't remember getting the bell before. But now I don't remember, did I test for enter before? So that's a little challenge, but that's how you can explore the possibilities here in the user interface. Oh, there it goes again. I'm learning how to handle that. Close it, reopen the designer. So I can go back to the lightning bolt on that and remove the validating code. See how the validating event is no longer there. Let's see if I can handle key up and not get that. I don't know why I'm getting a bell on that. Why am I getting a bell when I hit enter? Did you have a question?
No, I just ChatGPT
Did it give you an answer?
gave me a pretty good implementation that works.
Nice.
using two lists and then indexing
Yeah. Yeah.
indexing the list
Yeah.
and then concatenating based on a for loop that runs through the length of the valuelets. So like the length of the 1,000 place, then 900.
Right, right.
Iterating through that,
Yep.
starting at the I, and then while the number is greater than the
So then you're
value of the
subtracting.
number at the index.
Yep.
It appends the numeral associated to the same index
Yep.
in the other list
Yeah.
to the string, and then subtracts the value at that index from the number, and then reiterates.
Right.
through.
So very much like the change calculator.
Yeah.
You're calculating what that top decimal will be, figured out, and then subtract that thousands
You
from.
probably do it with modular division too in this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It'd just be longer than
Yep.
the two lists.
And see that involves a loop, which we're not asking to do, but you are welcome to use that technique. But then that's a great way to expand your knowledge. Is okay, I can do it this way. How would I do it? And get ChatGPT to show you. Then read through what it gives you. If you have a good understanding of it, you're just ahead in understanding code. Because that basically the job out there. You're most likely working on someone else's project that they've gotten partly done, you're finishing, or you've got a working product that you want to enhance. So you usually are seeing code from other people that may have written and thought a completely different way than you, but taking that and understanding it. So I am, since we have time on this, I'm going to try to, it looks like, I'm going to see if I do key up, will it not beep at me? So message box, key up. And I don't know, maybe there's not a way to not have it beep at me. I thought if I hit enter, it was just ignoring me, but it's giving me a beep. Let's see if I do a key up. I'm gonna hit 8. Notice when I let go, I get the key up event. Let's try hit enter. I do get the key up event and a bell, which I'm good with that. As long as I can, well, but the problem is key up is gonna handle every key. So let's go back to key up and let's see, can I figure out what key got pressed? And that's going to take a little bit of understanding. E is my variable that handles key event. Let's see if I can figure out what key was hit. So let's do key dim, what message box? No, we'll do dim s key as string equals, and I'm going to explore what's inside of that key event variable that I know is given to me there. It's a key event args. Let's see what E has in it by typing E dot, and I can do dot to string. Let's try the dot to string. And now let's do key up, colon, and then I will concatenate what string got pressed. I'm debugging what key, and I'm hoping I can do if key equals something, then handle the conversion. Like if the key is the enter key. So every time I hit a key, I should be able to see the string equivalent of that key. So this is, again, this is just debugging what in the world I can get from this E event. And the next thing I can do is, if I don't get an answer here, I can actually put a breakpoint in and hover over the E variable when I hit that breakpoint. But I'm going to do my own debugging first. So now I hit 7, still converting. 7, enter. I get the key up. Oh, key up is system Windows key event args. Well, that's not helping me very much. I get a converting to string of what that variable is. So I don't want E to string. What else can I get? E, instead of E to string, let's try E dot key code. How about key code? That sounds more useful. And what is key code? It is a key code so I have to, let's see, I have to convert that key code to a string, and I do C stir. I'll take that correction, and Why isn't putting that correction there? Well, I guess I'll just have to type that myself. Why doesn't it do that if I double click on that correction? No, alright. Or is, well, here. No. Alright, I know what the correction is. It'll be C. It'll be C-stir. Alright, so let's put a C-stir around that. C-stir, and then the key code. Now, I'm assuming when I hit enter, it's going to be a special key code that I can compare now. Alright, here we go. Run it. All this just to debug what key I get when I hit enter, because someone said I want to be able to handle enter there. Key code is 13. Alright, if I hit any other number, I'll get a different key code, 56. Alright, so I'm looking for a key code of 13, and then I will do the same thing as though I were converting. Alright, so what do I do? Well, I'm going to handle key up. And what do I do if they've hit enter? Well, I got to do all this in here. Button convert click. What if I put all the code that did all of this in a separate little function? Then I could also call that function from here. So I can do this. If 13 is equal to S key, and I should put that in quotes because that's converted to a string, and I gotta fix the quotations there. If 13 is equal to the key, oh, what does he know like? Do the etching end if. Now I want to do all the work of handling the contents of that text. Well, right now, all this work is being done from here all the way to here. Since I want to handle it from both places, I'm going to call, well, we haven't learned how to create functions yet. So I'll end there. Do you think I could just call button convert click? Well, problem is, it's expecting parameters. So I can't just call button convert click, although I wanted to do everything as though I clicked on that button. Is it possible? I can do this, btn convert dot, can I call his, can I make it appear as though that got clicked? Wouldn't that be cool? If I could just do button convert dot click. Perform click. Ooh. Now I'm handling enter key. I'm going to comment this out because if it works, I don't need to see that message anymore. Let's see if that actually does the solution. I've got a good feeling about this. Come over here. Let's hit enter. Oh, look at there. 4, enter. Just a little bit of enhancement on my program. It does give me the annoying beep, but I'm not worried about that for now. But I can hit enter after typing in a new value. Let's try a bad value. It should clear it. And, now let me put set the focus back, and I give it the correct input. Those message boxes will be going away, I guess. But it always does send my focus back to there. So a little enhancement, a little learning about keys, and how I can actually pretend I clicked on that button by doing a perform click. By using autocomplete to help me out, take a guess at what might be available. I had never done this before, to actually say, pretend you're clicking on the button. Rather than make a new function, I can just say, oh, do a click on that button. And then all the code that's already being handled by clicking there now happens when I hit enter. All by learning what that key code was. All right, we'll stop there, and